All right, welcome back, everybody. Season 2, Episode 1 of the Nicky and Fitz podcast. We're ready to go. You ready, Nick?
Uh, I'm ready, baby. I'm ready. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me
We're
too, man.
fired
Me
up.
too. Gonna get ready to do some great wagering, some great predictions. Season's looking really good. I've been looking forward to this season all summer. We are looking for a sponsor if anyone out there wants to sponsor us, but if not, we'll do it on our own.
We've got a couple irons in the fire, but we're,
We do. We do. We're going to try to get some more guest speakers on this year because I think our guests like betters, pickers. They're always fun to have on the show, and they add a different perspective to the show, which is always kind of neat, right?
right.
All right. So let's start with our agenda, Nick. What do we got this? Well, let's talk about some futures. What's going to happen this year? We always like to. I know there's a couple things on there: Heisman Trophy, National Championship, but I think we also got to talk, which I didn't talk to you beforehand. Coaches on the hot seat.
Right.
So
There's a
let's
lot
start.
of that because there's a lot of money involved now. I mean, there's a lot of
Oh,
money
there's
involved.
a lot of cash involved for the players and the coaches now, and
Right,
the schools.
right.
Everyone's financially committed to the thing, and everyone's got some skin in the game. So let's start with our first futures Heisman Trophy winners for the year. A lot of good players out there. Who do you like? What say you?
Maybe the quarterback from Miami, the kid who transferred from
Oh, Cam Ward.
Washington State. Yeah.
Cam Ward, he's pretty good. He's pretty good. I think he's going to
But
be
I'm
used
terrible
there.
at this. I mean, noteworthy. I mean, there's if you put action on the field, you might hit something because like some of these
Yeah,
guys were unknown. Joe Burrow was unknown, and
right,
so.
right. Here's the thing, though. Good money always bets on a quarterback for one on the high.
Right,
80% of them are quarterbacks. It's actually been 90 recently, but before it was like
right,
80 to have some running backs. So the running back position isn't as utilized as it was in the past. So
right.
I like um, I like Carson Beck, obviously, at
Good pick.
Georgia. I think he's going to have a
Right,
huge year. I like um, I like Quinn Ewers at Texas. I think he's going to have a huge year.
right.
Um, a dark horse for me would be Grant Newsmeyer from LSU
That's a good one.
to have a, but I don't know if he's out there on the radar, but he would be a dark horse. I think Cam Ward's also a dark horse. And then, if you want to go really like running back dark horse, Roman Hemby at Maryland could have a big year.
Right.
I'm a Terp. I don't say anything about it. I am a Terp, is who I am, and I think he could have a huge year too as well. What about national champions? Future bet on who's
It's just, it's obviously some of these schools are all in. I mean, Ohio State is spending every dime they have
yeah,
to
12
try and
million
win
on
this.
nil, 12 million
Yeah,
on nil this year. Yeah,
yeah.
I
So,
yeah, I like the
um,
Ohio State man. I do, and I think they're going to be right up. They're definitely going to make the playoffs. With a 12-team playoff this year, I think it opens up some more avenues for teams to make it, but I think in the end it'll be like meet the new boss, same as the old boss. The who said it best, right? I think
right.
I think it'll be Georgia. I think it'll be Ohio State. I think it'll be Texas, and then you know I don't I really like Alabama. I do. No one,
Those are four. Those are four.
everyone's
I
down
agree
on
with you.
them though.
The chalk is going to come home.
It's going to be
You know,
chalky, right? It's going to be
and there's
chalky
nobody
again.
out west. You know,
Maybe Clemson out of the ACC will get one of the top four seeds, and they'll be one of the teams laying around. But I think it's nice they're having more teams involved in it, and they get the top four seeds of the second group get the home game, which is
right,
really nice. It's going to be a lot of fun. Um, but after that, they've played 1 week. The top four seeds are off that week, getting healthy, and then you got to roll in after playing the week before, and you're going to be beat up, right? So
right.
it's a huge advantage to get one of those top four seeds, I think.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
And if those four teams in that order, whatever, get in there, then they're going to be the ones. I think they'll have a huge advantage, even though the games aren't at home. But they do have a week to get healthy. Actually, they'll have a couple weeks to get healthy because the season's going to be long and beefy with the championship games. The first week in December, like the 7th or the 8th or something. The 5th, the 6th, and the 7th. Then you have the next week. Everyone's off. Then the playoffs start the 20th. And then the second round of playoffs like the 27th. So think about it. The teams that win their championship on the 7th, they're off for 2 weeks, 3 weeks before they even play again. Where the other teams get really 1 week off, and they're rolling.
Right.
So
It's a huge edge.
it's a huge edge in football, especially because you take a beating. That's why we only play one game a week because it's so rough.
Right.
So week 0 ended. A few games out there. I got to talk about Florida State, Nick.
Right.
They still hung over from the 63-3 beatdown.
Oh,
LOL.
yeah.
Are they still upset
Look,
about the committee not picking them? I mean, what the
looks
hell?
like it, right? I mean, they're just he's a good coach, but you know, I think when you bring in a lot of players in the transfer portal, you have to have a core. You can't bring in wholesale transferees
Yeah,
and then just hit the ground. You're not going to fire on all cylinders first game.
he did that, and he didn't. He didn't
Right.
fire on all cylinders. And Georgia Tech just the middle of the road ACC team, so
Right.
that means just the middle of the road, national team. And for them to go to Dublin, and apparently they brought 30,000 fans with them. 30,000 criminals were in Dublin. Okay.
Right.
And to throw up that stinker, and I
Right.
thought Norville's time management during that game was terrible. Terrible. They couldn't run the ball, and they kept trying to run the ball. And it
Right.
killed all that clock in the fourth quarter, and they never got the ball back because all Georgia Tech had 3-5 minutes to drive down for a field goal, and they slowly, methodically went up the field. And I thought, I don't think he was out coach. He just didn't do a good job of managing the clock in that fourth quarter, and that cost him. That cost him big. And they're just, I mean, they got dudes. Don't get me wrong. It's not
Right.
like he doesn't have players. He's not Georgia Tech, for instance, in terms of
Right.
talent. But maybe they're a little stake bitten. They tempted the gods. They called out the gods, and now the
Right.
gods got them back a little bit. I think, to be honest with you.
The gods are mocking them now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the gods are mocking them. All right, so we got the games coming up. Here we go.
Right.
I think it's just the first week. There's a bunch of games on Thursday and Friday, right? Because I looked future schedules. There's only like one or two every Thursday or Friday. So this is just because it's week
Yeah.
one. They want to get a
That's
bunch
right.
of teams on the board.
That's right.
Um, so we'll go through them, make our picks, right? Like we've done in the past.
Right.
There's some games we're going to highlight: upset of the week, a game of the week, road trip, those types of things, like we've done in the past. And then after that, we'll touch on every game. Some games we're going to touch less, but I think some games need a little conversation. There's some good games this week. Don't you agree?
There are some good games.
Okay.
So yeah, you don't go to the Maryland game because there's some good games going on during that game.
I'll be
on
at the
TV.
Maryland game, Nick, because that's what I do. Okay.
All right.
We'll have the
I get
Florida
it.
Miami game on the TV in the
Right.
skybox. I'll be in my
Right.
suite watching that
All
shit.
right.
All right. And I actually think I like Connecticut in the 20.5. I think Maryland's going to win, but I think the game's going to be a little closer than the spread.
All right.
So can I skip
So
some of these games? I want to highlight on some of the bigger games. Is that okay?
Sure. You want to go first?
Yeah. I'll call them out. You give me the pick, and then I'll give you my pick.
All right.
UNC v. Mini.
Okay. I've looked at this game extensively. I have
Minus
listened
two.
to
UNC.
I have listened to so many North Carolina Tar Heel podcasts over the last 3 weeks. It's crazy.
You love Mac Brown. That old man.
Yeah. Well, this is so. Carolina was a 2.5 point underdog. Now they're a 2 point favorite.
At Mini.
Um,
They play good
at
at home.
Mini, what?
Mini plays good at home.
right. Um, my theory is Mac Brown, he can retire at any time.
Yep.
He came back because he had a terrible taste in his mouth and he wants to win. So he brought in Jeff Collins, the former head coach at Temple and Georgia Tech,
Right.
turned the defense over to him. And I think Mac Brown is pretty locked in. I've been watched all of his press conferences, and he seems like a pretty focused guy.
You like them
Um,
in the ACC this year, then?
yeah, I
Because
do.
Florida State's done. You know that, right? They got to go to
Right,
Notre Dame. They got to go to
right,
Clemson. They got to play Miami. They got to play
right,
Florida. They're done.
right, right.
Just for the record, I just want to set that straight.
Right. So I don't know too much about Minnesota. You know, PJ Fleck's a good coach.
Yeah.
They're at home. It's the opener.
You're going to row the boat.
Maybe it's a no play for me because this line
You got to
movement.
give me a pick. I don't want to hear
Okay.
no play.
Okay. UNC -2.
And I'm gonna take PJ at home. I like them at home.
Okay.
No reason, but just they're at home.
No, it's a
Here's
solid.
an interesting game here, Nicky. North Dakota State, okay,
Right.
beat Colorado. Colorado favored by 10.
Right.
I am going to take North Dakota State. Aren't they always really good? They're always like in the playoffs or the championship game. I mean, they're pass happy, right?
I don't know anything about them.
Yeah, I'm gonna take them.
Okay.
Who do you like there?
A pass.
You gotta pick somebody. God damn it!
Okay, then I'll take Colorado.
I know you love Neon. All right, so far we're a full split.
Right.
Another interesting game: FAU, Fine Ash University versus
Right.
Michigan
So
State.
now we're moving to Friday's games.
Friday's games. Yes, FAU getting 14 against Michigan
Sparty.
State. New coach Sparty at home. Warm weather though. It's not Sparty in November. It's
Right.
Sparty in September in East Lansing.
Right.
What do you think?
First game out of the chute, I'm going to take Florida Atlantic with the 14.
I am going to take the same. And I'm going to double bet this and take the under.
Okay.
Under. Which is what, 45 and a half. That's calm
Right.
down.
I got it at 45.
Yeah. Okay. 45 and a half right now. I just
Right.
pulled while you were getting the camera. I checked the spreads.
Okay. All right.
All
Good
right.
move.
Temple at Oklahoma. Boomer Sooner. Temple, my son's school, versus Oklahoma. Favored by 42 and a half. Jesus. I like Oklahoma there giving lane 42 and a half. I don't know what to tell you. I don't think Temple has much of a football program.
Right. Stan Drayton's a solid coach. I mean, obviously they're outmanned.
Oh yeah.
But this is my question for you. It's going to be hot as hell in Norman.
Oh yeah.
Even at 7 p.m.
Yep.
I mean, is the play to take the under and they're just going to call off the dogs?
I could see them winning 50 to nothing. Is that what you mean? Something like that? Because it's 57 and a half. That's a big number. So you like the under.
Yeah.
Nick likes
Yes.
under at 57 and a half. Okay. All right. And let's go one more on Friday night. TCU favored by 9.5 going into Palo Alto to Stanford. I like Stanford. They're getting the points. I know nothing about the teams. I know there's a travel situation. They got to go out to the West Coast. They're playing late. For TCU, it'd be playing at 9:30 at night. So I'm going to take Stanford in the points, man.
Yeah, I'm going to take the under there.
The under there, 59 and a half. Okay, under, Nick. All right, very good.
That was the undercard, though. Now we're getting to the meat of this matter.
Oh,
These are the good games.
Real meaty. UConn getting 20 and a half, right, at Maryland.
Right.
I'll be honest with you, Nick. I like UConn there with the points. I don't think they're going to win the game, but I think they're going to more as a good coach. Etzel's
Yeah.
gone there, and
Right.
I think he will. They'll play tough. They'll play hard. They're not good enough to beat Maryland. Maryland's got a good team. They're loaded. They got a lot of talent. And I think Maryland beats them 42-17. Well, that would actually cover. Maybe 30-31-17, 35-17, something like that. That's what I think.
Okay. That's
What do you
legit.
what do you like there?
I agree with you. I'll take Jim Morgan 20 and a half.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And this is my upset pick of the week, Nick. Penn State, 8.5 point, 8 point favorite at Wild and Wonderful.
Okay.
Let's talk about that for a minute.
Okay. I've done a lot of work on this game too,
Good.
as have
Talk to
you.
me.
As have you.
Yes.
So if you look at James Franklin, I mean, he has won a lot.
Yes. He
You
won at
know,
Vanderbilt. No one's ever won
right,
at Vanderbilt but him.
right,
No one.
right.
Ever.
He's he's sort of an underrated coach, and he's got Tom Allen in from Indiana to coach the defense,
It's a good hire. It's a
and
good
he's
hire.
got Andy Nicky, who was Lance Leopold's offensive coordinator at Kansas, in
Yeah.
to coach the offense.
Last time I saw them, they were running Oklahoma up and down the field, right?
Right. So I think this game comes down to, does Penn State have enough speed at wide receiver? They've got the kid Fleming in from Ohio State.
Jules Fleming, who was their like
Right,
fifth stringer, so he's no factor.
right,
He
right,
couldn't he couldn't break a grape at Ohio State.
right, right.
I mean, he didn't
So,
play. He never saw the field. That's why he's at Penn State.
right,
If he's your best, then you got problems.
right. So I'm gonna I'm gonna diverge from what you're. I'm gonna go with Penn State giving the 8 points.
Okay. And I mean, I just think that is a tough place to play. They're
Yeah,
going to be so juiced for that game, the West Virginians. I don't know if they'll beat them outright with 8. I'm definitely taking them with 8, but I think they could actually beat them outright just because I think Penn State's going to go in there and say, whoa, they've been to some hostile environments, the shoe, Ann Arbor.
right.
All right. I get it. Those are hostile, but they're nothing like West Virginia.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Wild, wonderful West Virginia.
There's few places in the country that are like West Virginia, man. I mean, I'm sorry, maybe Stillwater, Oklahoma. I don't know.
Right,
There are
right,
places that are just unique to where they're at because in West Virginia, this is it. This
right,
is all you have is what University of West Virginia, nothing else.
right,
And it's the whole state, and they're insane. They
right,
are freaking insane. I think they're going to be blown away by that atmosphere in the heat, the drinking all day. It's going to
right.
be a bloodbath in the stands. And I think the Penn State fans that go there are going to wish they didn't, to be honest with you. So
Yeah.
I
What
think
time?
that's a huge
Now, if the
advantage.
game's at noon kickoff, what time do you think the drinking will start on Friday?
Kegs and eggs will start at 6 a.m. at the stadium. Happy hour starts at 3 the day before. Okay.
Okay.
But kegs and eggs, as they call it there, will start 6 a.m. All
Okay.
right. Clemson plus 13 and a half versus Georgia in the ATL, right? Yeah, in the ATL, which is
In the Georgia
basically
Dome.
a Georgia home game. It's 45 minutes from campus. It's a home
Right.
game for them. I'm going to go out and say Georgia thumps them
Okay.
41-10, maybe 49-12-13. It's going to be, I think, a beatdown because I think Georgia's on a mission this year, man.
Right.
I mean, I think they got kind of hosed last year, and they're talk about the committee not getting it right. I mean, the committee should have put Georgia in there, even though they had that one loss to Bama at the end. I mean, it's still obviously one of the best 4 teams in the country last year, right?
Right.
Um, and I know you love Dabo.
I love Dabo in this spot.
You
I
do.
think everybody's like, poor Dabo. He's lost it. He's got nothing. He's an idiot. And it's like, dude, Dabo's a pretty crafty dude.
Yes,
You know, I mean, he gets his players from the same region that Kirby Smart does.
he
He's
does.
got some horses on his team too.
He does. So you like Clemson?
I like Clemson. I mean, I understand what people say that Clemson's quarterback can't throw,
Yeah.
but I think Dabo has been laser focused on this game. I think that his coaching staff is locked in. Whether you say Clemson plus 13 or the under, um, 3 years ago, this was a historically under game in Charlotte. It was like 10-6 or 10-3 or something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
So you like the under there too? You double bet for you here?
I'm just going to take Clemson plus 13.
Okay. And I'm going to double bet this, and I'm going to take 48 and a half, and I'm going to take the over. I think
Okay.
this is one game that the scoring happens. I think they're going
All
to be
right.
flying around on offense because I think both teams are jacked up for this one. All
Oh
right.
yeah, this is an old time game.
Yeah,
This is a football game. I
this is
mean,
the real deal here. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, a lot of
yeah,
talent, a lot of NFL
right,
talent on that field.
right.
All right, this is I think the
This
best
is
game.
no game for the women and children.
No. Personally, for me, growing up in Miami, this is my favorite game of the week, and it's Miami at Florida
Okay.
in Gainesville in the swamp. Miami's a 2.5 point favorite. It is going to be hotter than hell there. I think Miami thumps them. I think this is actually a bad line. I think this game will be a 10, 17 point win for Miami. I think Miami thumps them badly. I think Florida, speaking of coaches on the hot seat, I think their coach is on the hot seat. I think he's in trouble if he
I
doesn't
think he
win this
is
year.
too. I mean, he seems to know he is, but he's like, I'm going to turn. When he got the job, apparently the program was a mess. Mullen left him a mess,
Come
and he
on,
feels
man. It's
like
Florida. There's no mess.
that's what I did.
Mike
But
Loxley
he's
picked up a mess. Mike Loxley
right,
got a mess at Maryland. I mean, they have dudes, man. They're putting guys in
right,
the NFL every year. I mean, it's not like they don't have dudes. They got
right,
players. It wasn't a
right,
mess. He's a mess. He just
right,
can't get him to win. He's a
right,
terrible in-game coach. He's a
right,
so-so recruiter. I mean, he's gotten
right,
players. They offer kids nil money and then take it back and shit. I mean, you
right.
can't do that. That's like, what the hell is that about? Like Indian giving nil money? That's not
That's
cool.
fraud. Yeah,
That's fraud. Exactly. There's lawsuits about nil money there. I mean, come on. The place is a disaster since he started running it. And he doesn't win this year. He's out. There's no doubt
right,
in my mind. Those rednecks are tossing him to the road. He's done.
right.
Finished. Finished. So I think Miami thumps him and puts one or two nails in that coffin for him.
All right.
That's what I think. What
So
do
I'm going to put more than I'm going
what,
to take Florida and get the points.
you are?
Yeah.
Wow. So you think Florida's going to win?
Yeah, I think Florida. I think Florida's a totally unknown thing. Apparently,
Yeah,
they've
because they
closed
suck.
all practices,
Oh, okay.
no podcast. The running back's hurt. Nobody knows how bad. They're totally locked down. So you
Graham
don't
Mertz,
know.
though. Graham Mertz, Nick. You saw him at Whiskey. He's terrible.
Yeah,
Come on,
right,
man. He's
right.
he's your solution at quarterback.
No,
No, he's not a solution. He's a problem at
right.
quarterback. All right. I like that you picked him, but I think you're gonna miss on that one,
All
unfortunately.
right.
All right. Another game I like. I love this guy, by the way. I just fucking love him. FIU getting 21 and a half at Indiana. Opening game for Kurt Szigeti.
Right.
Google him if you don't know who he is, Nick. He's won a lot.
Yeah, he's the old James Madison coach, right?
Yes. That's what he said at his press conference. Google me if you don't know who I am. I've won a
Hmm.
lot. I think I like FIU there, getting 21 and a half. He doesn't have horses there, and the Big Ten's a different animal, than
Right,
JMU, unfortunately for him.
right.
I think in a couple years though, when he gets some dudes, I think he's gonna be pretty good. 41 players left the program. 41. That's
Wow,
a
it's a
whole new
lot.
team. That is a
Yeah,
lot.
that's two whole teams. Yeah. FE, you got to go with. I'll piggyback on you and climb on FIU as well.
Okay. But I think he's going to be entertaining, though. Very entertaining, actually. All right, now we're starting to get a little meatier. Notre Dame
Right. So we've
getting
got it. So then,
getting
okay. So
three.
then you're gonna go out, get dinner, and then the 7:30 games come up. We're into
Notre
the
Dame at A&M in College
right,
Station. Getting Notre Dame's getting three. This
right,
is a good game. This is a
right,
really this game. I mean Notre Dame probably has had a better last couple years, but I love that Mike Elko. I loved him at Duke. He won at Duke. Only him and Spurrier ever won at Duke, so he's unbelievable coach. And the Notre Dame quarterback is his old quarterback from Duke, so
right.
he knows the
Which right,
goods on him, right?
you got it.
Right. So
It
I like
always favors the coach.
A&M there.
Right.
And because I think it's a tough place for Notre Dame to play to. I mean, I think I heard that's an unbelievable atmosphere. Night
It's
game.
like you said. It's going to be hotter than hell down there. Um, I I think Elko has to shut down the party with Jimbo Fisher. I think he's got to clear the whole place out, fumigate the whole place.
I think he had
Um,
like 30, 35 transfers too, Nick. I think
yeah,
he
I
did
mean,
clear out the
if
place.
I was him, I'd be driving players to the airport because he's got to get some of those bums out of there.
Yeah, I think most of them left, to be honest with you. He threw
Right,
them out. But I think it's a tough spot for Notre Dame to open the season.
right,
I'm not. I would have tried to move that game to further down the road,
right,
and maybe play Indiana State for Notre Dame instead of
right,
them, instead of A&M. That's
right,
that's a tough opening game for them. All right, you love this game, the West Coast game, UCLA Lane 14 versus the Rainbows of Hawaii.
right,
I always like Hawaii in these games because I think teams have a hard time. But now UCLA is on the West Coast already. So it's only
right.
what's a 3 hour time difference for them, right? Is that the difference?
Yeah, it's like a
Hawaii.
cross country flight. It's like a 5 hour flight.
Yeah. I'm gonna take Hawaii getting 14.
Okay.
What do you like there?
No, you said I got to take a play. But let me circle back from there.
Or you can take the under too.
I'll take the
55 and a half.
under on Notre Dame, the Texas A&M Aggies, and I will
Oh, you
take
you like the under there at 46 and a half?
yeah,
Under for Nick. Okay.
and I'll take the under UCLA and Hawaii.
Nick, and that's a big number, 55 and a half. Nick under. Okay. All right.
We got to touch on one more game, Fernando.
No, no, no. We're not
Um,
done. Oh, one game on
no,
Saturday?
yeah, we gotta hit the Fresno State, Michigan. I gotta find out what you think.
Fresno State getting a ton, right?
21.
21 and a half v Michigan,
What do you think?
45 and a half points. I like Fresno there. Getting the 21 and a half. I don't think they could beat Michigan. Michigan's still got a lot of talent. I think
Right,
Michigan's got some problems, man. I think Sharon Moore's going to be fine there, but he's not going to win. They'll win 9 games, maybe 8 games this
right.
year. I don't think he's going to go run the table. I don't think he's going to go 11-1 or even 10-2. I think they're going to lose some games. I don't think they're going to lose this game, but I do think they're not going to cover here. I think Fresno covers at 21 and a half.
Okay. I agree with you.
You like that one as well?
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Then late night. Nothing really there. Um,
right.
Let's go to Sunday night, man. A game that I think is going to be one of the better games of the weekend as well. LSU getting 4.5. It was at 8 at one point. You know that, right?
Yeah, it's I've never seen a line move like this ever in my life.
Unbelievable. Half
Yeah,
went
and
from
it's
8
like a daily thing. It's swinging by like 4 points every day.
and the over under 64. That's a lot of points
Right,
for a first opening game. Now they're going to be slinging it. There's no
right,
no no doubt in my mind that Moss and Newsmeyer are going to be throwing it all over the field, right? Both coaches
right,
like screw it, fuck the run, let's just throw the
right,
ball. I love LSU here. I think LSU beats them pretty handily. I think USC is soft. They're a West Coast soft team, and
right,
LSU is a bunch of raging cages, and they're mean and nasty. And I
right.
think they steamroll at USC in their softness.
I'm with you, brother.
Yeah,
Brian Kelly might be a lot of things, but he can coach.
yeah, and he's not soft.
Right.
Do we want to touch on your lock of the week?
No, that's not my lot.
All right, hang on. Let me just go over that one. BC
Okay.
getting 17 and a half at FSU in Tallahassee. What say you about that? Tallahassee coming back from Dublin. I mean, I'm gonna take BC. I think FSU's done. I think they're cooked. You think they come back and roll BC because they're mad about Georgia Tech?
No, but I'll take the under there.
The 50-point under?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what is your lock of the week, Nick? Do you have one?
So I I looked at so many games for this. I mean, so many lines, and I'm going to go with kind of an obscure one. The under 55 and a half, Kent State and Pittsburgh.
Pitt and Kent State.
Yeah, in the
That's
Berg.
it's a big number, man.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's gonna be an interesting week. A lot of really high level tilts, right? Like
Right.
LSU, USC. You got Notre Dame, Texas A&M, Miami, Florida. I mean, geez, Clemson, Georgia, Penn State, West Virginia. I mean, those are all like high level tilts. Um, all right, new segment this year is the
Do we
art.
want to do it? Recommend a roadie? I got a roadie if we want to recommend one.
Yes, please.
Um, so it's not a powerhouse game, not the great the greatest game ever. I think Miami of Ohio is playing at Northwestern in this deal where in Evanston where while they remodel their stadium, Northwestern, they're playing in a temporary stadium over by the lake. If you're in the area, I've been
Oh,
there. I've been to games, not obviously not at this new temporary stadium, but it's a pretty good time in Chicago. It's a good weekend,
yeah.
and no, it's a pretty fun atmosphere. So that's the one I would recommend this week.
Yeah, and I've been to Evanston for a basketball game for Maryland
Right,
Northwestern basketball game. It's a cool campus, man, right on the lake. And I know
right,
where that's the new practice facility they built on the lake, right? Is that where they're gonna have
right.
the so it's kind of like a miniature stadium. Very cool. They don't have a lot of fans, so I guess this is gonna work for them. Yeah, that would be a cool road trip. And Chicago's a great town. I mean,
Right.
you can stay in Evanston, you can go downtown to Chicago, you can go to the Loop. You can go catch a Cubs game. You can go catch a Sox game. I mean, there's a
Right.
lot to do in Chicago. I don't know the Bears aren't in town yet, but obviously with Caleb Williams coming into Chicago for the Bears, that's gotten a lot of notoriety as well. So yeah,
Right.
Chicago's always fun, especially now. The weather's nice. You got
Right.
the lake right there. You can go to the beach right in front of the Hancock Center. I mean, that's the
Mm,
best. I mean,
right.
it's a cool city.
Right.
went there for the All-Star game in 1990. I still remember those days. That was a lot of fun.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So we have a new segment, the Rest in Peace RIP segment. We're going to talk about an athlete who's passed away. Nick's going to do a little eulogy on the guy because I think this is something that every week I know famous athletes die. They don't have to be football or basketball players. It can be just anyone in sports. I think we could touch on. And this week, Nick's got Al Attles, right?
That's right.
The old
The
Warrior.
former head coach, player, head coach, general manager, had a 60-year run, 60-year plus run with the Philadelphia Warriors, and then went out to Oakland when they moved in the early 60s. And he never he stayed there his whole career.
Wow.
And he was so I'll just say it like this: 11-year playing career, 9 points a game, 4 rebounds a game, 4 assists per game. Nothing exciting.
No, in today's world, though, that's 30 million a year.
So you say,
I mean,
why are we talking about Al Attles? I mean, what's the deal? And I think the deal was the tremendous amount of respect that every player in the NBA had for him. That he was called the Destroyer for a reason. He was, as Lenny Wilkins said, he was never a dirty player, but he would defend you inch for inch. He would not give up on nothing dirty or nasty, but he would defend you. The Destroyer would be on you from the opening tip till the end of the game. And as Billy Cunningham said, I would not fight the Destroyer if I had a gun.
Very
he was
good.
a tough customer. Right. He's the best player ever to come out of Newark, New Jersey, where a lot of good players have come out of, and he deserves a tip of the hat. So we're going to do him this week.
All right. Excellent. All right, Al. Good luck to you, and rest in peace to you and your family. Peace, God bless you and your family. And all right, I think that wraps up the show. Great show.
Great show. Good to see you.
Good to be back next week. Great to be back. I'm very fired up. I think we're going to try to get Scotty Nash, who opened up a vodka distillery last year. I mean, not last year, during COVID in 2020, made his own vodka from home here in Montgomery Village, Maryland, where I live. And then he moved out to a refinery or factory out in Frederick, Maryland, selling a lot of vodka. Good guy, a Terp, went to school when we went to school in the 80s. He's going to be probably our guest speaker, the guest picker next week. So
all right,
line that up.
We're looking forward to it.
Yeah. Scotty's a really good guy, and he'd be perfect for this. So I've asked him. He said, "Yep, he's out of town this week, but he definitely will entertain it next week." All right.
All right. Well, let the games begin, and
let's go, baby.
We shall reconvene next week.
All right, Nicky. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. See you.